Hi, everybody. I was talking to someone who'd had a really, really tough childhood, and the advice had come to them to just love yourself. That's what you need to do. You need to now, you've been through this, and now you need to find a way to love yourself. And the person was excited about this advice. It looked right and good and helpful. But then, how? How? Because it does look right and good and helpful, doesn't it? Yes, I've been through my life hating myself. I can see that's not, there's something in that's there should be more space, there should be something different. I can see how that closes me in. I can see how it creates conflicts that might not otherwise be there. So I can see that maybe loving myself, the opposite of all that, would help. But how do I do it? How do I do it? And so we embark on all sorts of things, don't we? On mantras and affirmations and yeah, self-help, like all of them. Yeah, we've all done it, haven't we? All of them. But what's actually going on? What is this? And it has to begin with looking at what is this self. So if we want to love ourselves, let's start with what is it that we're trying to love? Let's start there. And what is that? What sounds like a stupid question because we just assume, yeah, we know, yeah, it's me, isn't it? It's me, myself. But what is that? What is that we're trying to love? What is it? How, like, is it the body? Could be. There seems to be some association with this self and this body, but the way the body appears can change from one moment to the next, can't it? So there doesn't seem to be any fixed self with that body somehow, or fixed body maybe with the self. It could be our behaviors, but again, the way our behaviors appear is totally different, isn't it, from one moment to the next? So one minute we're tidying up, just sorting stuff out. The next minute, the tidying up is like an issue, and why do we always make such a mess, and why aren't we more organized? Same with everything. A conversation with a friend is just a conversation with a friend, or it's a whole cavern of self-criticism, and what do they think of me, and why did I say that, and what did she mean by this comment? And so the behaviors are always transient in the way they appear. So it doesn't seem that there's anything fixed in that. Then there's the mind. And what is the mind? Because that really does seem to be where the self is. But what is that? That seems to just change like the weather. One minute we're thinking this thing, the next minute we're thinking the next thing. There's nothing fixed there either. And then maybe we look to what other people's idea of us is. But how can we ever know that? And even if they tell us, even if someone said, Claire, you are awful. I don't like you at all. You're a terrible person. How do I know that the next second they're not thinking, oh God, I shouldn't have said that to Claire. I was in such a bad mood. I love her, really. She's amazing. She's gorgeous. How do we know? We don't know. We have the evidence of what people say, but we don't really know whether that's still what they believe. And if anyway, if these beliefs change from light to dark, day to night on the drop of a hat, what's fixed in there? Where is the self, the permanent self in there? And so loving ourselves starts to become a very strange concept, doesn't it? Because where is the substance? Where is the center in all of that to be loved? And what would be doing the loving anyway? And how does loving come about? What makes something be loved, or what makes something able to love something? How like there's nothing there, is there? There's nothing there. It's there's no substance to it. And so this advice, you need to love yourself, seems to point into a sort of ethereal, transient, smoky theatre of set changes and different words happening and different actions and different takeouts. Doesn't seem to point to anything true. And the me that would do the loving, how can I bring about loving? How can I do that? I can't, can I? I can raise my hand if someone says, raise your hand, Claire. But if someone says, love me, how? What process? How would that happen? We don't know, because there isn't a process for it. So what all of this is pointing to is that the direction you need to love yourself more is awesome, really, because it's pointing to explore what you really are. What are you? You're not the behaviors, you're not the mind, you're not what other people say or do, you're not the body. How can we be when the body's unrecognizable from when we were born? Where is the permanent self in that? So it points us to that open space of, well, if I'm not all of this, then what am I? And as we move through all these things into that open space, we start seeing how these things are so transient, so dependent on perception, so distorted and created by whatever mood is going on, whatever filter is happening. And so they fall away. They're no longer it. And yet they took up so much energy. There was so much identification of me in that. And now that effort is falling away, that exhaustion is falling away. And what remains is the constant of life, the constant of existence or of awareness. And that, with nothing weighing it down, with no different way that we have to be, because the different way is only contained in these beliefs, that is love. It's love because it is pure peace, it's pure stillness, pure presence, pure possibility, potential. It's the space in which everything arises from. So this miraculous will to form begins there. And that's what we are. And so love yourself will take us to that space. If with the right teacher and with a refusal to stop at platitudes and contradictions and empty words, with a refusal to stop there, the self is undone, the idea of self is undone. And what we are, what remains is yeah, is infinite and absolute, is beyond belief, literally beyond belief, isn't it? And that's it. That's where we get taken to, and so really that's where the traumatic childhood or the things that people have endured is the gift, really, because that discomfort, that suffering, that sense of not being okay, not being right, of these beliefs of what we are weighing down so heavily, can lead us through all the things that aren't true, through to what doesn't change ever. And that's the undoing, that's the healing. Yeah. So terrible advice, but if looked at with curiosity and refusal to stop at anything that isn't true, then it can open up the whole world. Yeah. Big love to you all. Thank you. Bye.